What's up everyone, it's Endymion, and today I want to talk about some of the latest news surrounding entertainment today that's full of cringe and self-loathing. So sit back, get a snack, and let's laugh at the madness together. Also, all the game footage you're going to see here is from Sony's latest PlayStation showcase. I figured you don't want to look at still images for 10 plus minutes. Anyway, firstly I want to look at an article from Bounding Into Comics titled, Flaming Hot Director Eva Longoria accuses Hollywood of racism and sexism. Claims female Latina directors don't get a lot of at-bats, but a white male can direct a $200 million film, fail, and get another one. Already, I can smell the victim complex forming around Eva Longoria's head as she spews these insane takes. Longoria made an appearance at the Women in Motion panel at the Cannes Film Festival where she's promoting her new movie, Flaming Hot. It's about the creation of the famous red hot flavor of Cheetos. Anyway, somehow Longoria found a way to twist the narrative around her film to make herself seem like a victim. And apparently, it's white men's fault because of course it is. Eva Longoria said, and I quote, "We don't get a lot of bites at the apple. My movie wasn't low budget by any means, it wasn't 100 million, but it wasn't 2 million. When was the last Latina directed studio film? It was like 20 years ago. We can't get a movie every 20 years. The problem is if this movie fails, people go, oh, Latino stories don't work, female directors really don't cut it. A white male can direct a $200 million film, fail, and get another one. That's the problem. I get one at bat, one chance, work twice as hard, twice as fast, twice as cheap. You really carry the generational traumas with you into the making of the film. For me, it fueled me. I was determined." End quote. Joining Eva Longoria was Dr. Stacy Smith, who's in charge of USC Annenberg's Inclusion Initiative. It's an organization designed to evaluate major companies like Netflix, for example, in order to ensure these companies are pandering to woke identity politics. Don't believe me? I'll let Dr. Smith speak for herself. She worked with Eva Longoria on her new film, and I quote, "This was a collaborative effort to reward folks that are doing well on screen when it comes to representation across multiple categories. Gender, race, ethnicity, LGBTQ+, as well as people with disabilities and over the age of 65. Are we showing the stories that aren't told, and then who is working behind the camera?" End quote. Longoria continues on saying that there's not enough Latino directors even though they make up 27% of America's audience. Basically, for many paragraphs onward, Longoria tries to victim shame the audience at Cannes into feeling sorry for her so they'll watch her movie. It's kind of ironic, to be real with you, and stereotypical that a movie about flaming hot Cheetos is directed by a Latino woman to begin with, since there's a literal stereotype that all Latino women do is eat hot Cheetos and lie to their boyfriends. I'm not saying it's true, but I just find it funny that of all the things she made a movie about, it was flaming Cheetos. Well, I guess somebody will watch that.
Are you,
But no, but I mean, but there has become a thing that's gone on. It seems like in this, especially this last year, where what's the word I'm looking? Ideology is more important than art.
way more, certainly to the awards.
Yeah. And it's just, it's like, ideology
Right.
trumps art.
And that-
Ideology
right.
trumps
It's
individual
terrible.
effort. Ideology trumps good. Ideology trumps entertaining.
There's two kinds of movies, virtue signalers
Yeah,
and superhero movies.
Yeah.
Not me, of course, because as soon as you try to victim blame yourself into a position where you'll benefit, you lose all support from me. That's like if I told you, hey, my dad's side of the family was almost wiped out by the Nazis in World War II, which is true, by the way. Anyway, somehow this is your fault, and now unless you super thanks me on this video for $5, you're a racist. That's basically what Longoria is doing here. She's trying to lower the expectations of her movie while also making you feel sorry for her because she's a woman. Ah yes, I feel sorry for the empowered woman who was paid millions to direct a Hollywood film, while simultaneously getting that film supported by the Cannes Film Festival during a panel created specifically to uplift and showcase the works of women only. By the way, where's the Men in Motion panel at the Cannes Film Festival again? Oh, there isn't one. Why's that? Because men don't victimize themselves, they don't need the world to feel sorry for them? How very modern woman of you, Eva Longoria. I'll be surprised if her movie makes any money. But it seems like all Longoria's doing here is eating hot Cheetos and lying to her audience. Now that's comedy. Stop blaming society and everything around you for why you can't succeed. Plus, like I've said about a week ago in my video where a Netflix writer blamed white people as well. Stop blaming white people or men in general as the reason why you can't succeed. If you are a woman of any ethnicity in this day and age, you have literally more opportunities than any straight white male does right now. Bonus points if you have weird pronouns or you're bi or something. Stop victim blaming yourself, it's ridiculous. Anyway, enough about women's wrongs, it's time to talk about, well, more women's wrongs. And a very, very base take from China of all places. Also from Bounding Into Comics, we have another article titled, The Little Mermaid, Chinese state-run media warns Disney to stop pushing racism narrative around fairy tales or they will lose their magic glory. Okay, strap yourselves in folks because this is about to get based as hell. From the website China's Global Time, which is an English-based editorial website ran by the Chinese Communist Party, they decided to just throw hands at Disney and attack them. The website said, and weirdly enough, it's credited as the entire website writing the article, so no author is given, but anyway, and I quote, Disney's decision to cast a person of color as the lead in The Little Mermaid seemingly was made to break stereotypes and promote equality. But so far, the negative reactions outweigh the positive ones. This begs the question of whether Disney's political correctness actions are motivated by capital interests or genuine concern for representation. The controversy surrounding Disney's forced inclusion of minorities in classic films is not about racism, but its lazy and irresponsible storytelling strategy. If the company truly wants to represent marginalized groups, why not create original stories that reflect their experiences instead of turning classic tales into sacrificial lambs for political correctness? When the beautiful stories that have accompanied countless children's childhoods become arenas for racial conflict, they lose their meaning and become devoid of romance and fantasy, replaced by arguments about skin color. If Disney continues following this path, audiences, especially innocent children, will no longer care if the prince and princess live happily ever after. But what is the skin color of the prince and princess, and the fairy tale will lose its magic glory. End quote. Holy crap! I knew the Chinese Communist Party was base as hell, but oh my god, good lord. The article says more of course, but to sum it up, they claim that Disney's push for political correctness will only devalue and divide people. Apparently, The Little Mermaid has only sold about $85,000 in advance ticket sales in China. To paint you a picture as to how bad that is, as of 2021, China's population is around 1.4 billion people. That means less than a single % of the entire country bought a ticket to see Disney's latest remake. The actual percentage is really low, but I'm bad at math and I don't want to embarrass myself trying to find out how much of the population bought a ticket. But if you're good at math, let me know in the comments. And give me a break, alright? I do YouTube for a living for a reason. If you put a gun to my head and ask me a math question, just tell my mom I love her and pull the trigger. The article claims that this poor pre-sale of tickets for Little Mermaid could be used as a shaming tactic by Disney, in order to push the narrative that Chinese audiences don't want to see diversity on screen due to low ticket sales. One of the most base statements of this article is that they claim The Little Mermaid's performance in China will be used to impose their politically correct standards on Chinese audiences and use this to sow discord between China and African groups. All of this finger-pointing racist claims are further highlighted by China's poster for The Little Mermaid. It specifically claims that numerous commentators are using the poster to hint that Chinese audiences are racist. It also asserts that the Walt Disney Company released a Chinese version of the US poster. The article gets even more based, so I'll just say, and I quote again, Disney are imposing their own politically correct values on Chinese audiences, expecting them to embrace the film the same way as Western audiences have. This expectation is unreasonable since Chinese don't have such political correctness, as the country's modern history is more about being invaded by Westerners rather than colonizing or oppressing black people. Instead, China has always maintained brotherly relations with Africa and has never needed an atonement mentality prevalent in Hollywood. Western white leftists use their political correctness to kidnap Chinese audiences is naked cultural hegemony. Some people simply don't have a clue how to reflect on themselves but only stand on a so-called moral high ground to criticize others. Colonizing a group of people on Earth and then yelling at another group for not sharing its own guilty conscience, how convenient to always be the right one, end quote. Holy crap, I can't believe I'm saying this right now, but am I agreeing with the Chinese Communist Party right now? Are we really living in a world where a government-funded website is spitting facts and just unloading their clips without care? Because they are, by the way. Wow. I mean, are they wrong here? I don't really think so. China is right that Western companies like Disney are pushing atonement mentality onto cultures that have no reason to atone. Chinese audiences are not racist because they're not watching The Little Mermaid. Basically what they're saying is, shut up and make good products. Stop pulling us into your mess and maybe people will actually like your stuff. I can't believe I'm agreeing with a government-funded article right now. Have I been compromised? Should I be afraid that the government will just come rolling in right now to take me out? Look, just like I discussed earlier in this video with Flaming Hot Cheetos Evil Longoria and her white guilt blaming, it's always the privileged ones who are pushing these woke identity political messages down our throats and then getting mad when we don't enjoy it. But the reality is that it's not our fault that your products are failing. It's not mine or anyone watching this' fault that Evil Longoria's movie will probably flop, or that The Little Mermaid only made $85K in pre-ticket sales, in a country that's literally 3 times the size of America and then some. The reason why all of this nonsense keeps happening and why they keep failing is because the product is not high quality. The only thing that matters to these morons is and always will be pushing the message. Even though I'm a guy, why is it my fault that women can't land bigger movies? You are living in a time where it has never been easier to succeed as a woman. The Little Mermaid has no excuse to fail when it has every opportunity and resource at its disposal to create a product that audiences will pay for. In the end, it is not the fault of the audience for the failure of a movie. And the only people to blame are the ones in charge of making the decisions behind the scenes in the first place. You want to know why movies and projects fail a lot? Stop blaming your audience like Evil Longoria is and stop trying to shame your customers into giving you money. The Olympics of being a victim these days is pathetic, and the only way you'll actually get yourself out of that headspace is to stop blaming the world, stop feeling sorry for yourself, and prove to those around you that you deserve the success you crave. I'm tired of these woke idiots who cry that it's my fault your product sucks. You only have yourselves to blame, and for the love of God, stop shifting your moronic baggage onto us. It's not our fault that you're a dumbass. Thank you for watching as always, like the video to help the channel out, subscribe for more nonsense like this one, and I'll see you in the next one.